Hello everyone, I am Professor Aves Ahmed Hosseini, working as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department at Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Yadgaon. So students, in this video we will discuss some important 34 steps which will help you for heat load estimation. So let us start with the first step of the heat load estimation. So the first step is collect coordination drawing. In this step we must have to read the CAD drawing of the building or that particular commercial or domestic application for which we have to design that heat load calculation. So that is the most important step, and it is totally coming from the civil engineer, and we have to read that drawing first of all. Then second step is that location for latitude, altitude and longitude. So we must have to consider these three, that is latitude, altitude and longitude for a particular region. Suppose we are situated in the Pune region, then we will get that all standard data from the web. Also we will get this idea of the values from the ISHRE and carrier handbooks. So the third important step is the application of the building for velocity selection. So we must have to define the application of the building, whether that building is domestic, whether it is commercial, whether it is a hospital or some kind of the organization, hotel, shopping complex, mall, restaurant, etc. We have to define first of all. So this is the third step. The fourth step is orientation of the building, and it will helpful for calculation for that solar heat gain. So according to that orientation of the building, orientation is nothing but that facing of the building, whether the direction is nothing related with that south, whether it is on west or in between that south and west. So we have to define that orientation in order to calculate that solar heat gain. And the fourth important step is that thermal condition. So we must have to define the inside and outside thermal condition, and we will get this all data from one website, that is World Weather Online Data. Okay, and we have to consider that 20 APT at 4 p.m. We must have to consider that inside and outside condition with the help of that World Weather Online data. Also it is possible with the help of standard handbooks related with the ISHRE as well as that carrier, as well as that ASHRE handbook. So the next important sixth step of the heat load estimation is collect the specification of constructional materials, that is wall, roof, partition, floor, ceiling. For construction purpose we use various materials like cement, bricks, then glass, gypsum board, POP panels and all. So we must have to know their specification. In that we have to know the value of the overall heat transfer coefficient. It is nothing but the U values. So we must have to calculate that U values with the help of ISHRE and carrier handbook. The standardized values are already given in the catalog of the ISHRE and ASHRE as well as carrier handbook. So you can refer these according to the material. And the next important seventh step is calculation of the U values, and after specifying the material, then we have to calculate that U values from the standard handbooks. Now the next eighth step of the heat load estimation is find equivalent temperature difference. So we must have to calculate the equivalent temperature difference for walls, roofs, partition, glass. Okay, also find the solar heat gain through the glass from the handbooks. Now the ninth step is find number of the people's, equipment, wattage, room area, etc. So if we consider one restaurant, then we have to know the how many number of the peoples are there So if office is there or some residential building is there, we must have to know the number of the peoples, then equipment wattage and room area. Now the next 10th step of the heat load estimation is find internal sensible heat load. So in that we have to calculate that heat from the people, and heat from the people is calculated by using formula number of the people into sensible heat per person. So in some standard ISHRE and Carrier handbook, the sensible heat per person value is already given, so you have to refer it and you have to multiply it by number of the peoples, you will get the heat from the people. The second important is heat from the light. So these are the two important area through which that sensible heat, internal sensible heat load is, means sensible heat is produced. One is that people, and second one most important is that equipment which is present inside in terms of the light, in terms of the equipment and all. So in second case, that heat from the light, you just calculate it by wattage of that particular equipment or that light. You have to divide it by square feet area into 3.415, that is the multiplication factor. Okay, so this is the most important step in order to calculate that heat from the light. Also heat load by evaporation, you have to calculate with the help of the formula total wattage into 3.415. So these are the some important 10th step which will definitely help you to calculate that heat load estimation. Out of them, that 10th step is most important because we have to calculate sensible heat load factor for people as well as for light. Sometimes we use that heat load by the evaporation, but it is not a mandatory step. Now the second way you have to calculate that sensible heat, that is heat load by partition, we must have to consider, and the formula is U of that partition, means overall heat transfer of that partition into area of that partition, then equivalent temperature difference of that partition. You will get that answer directly. So this is again heat load with the help of that sensible heat factor, we have to calculate it. Similar way, heat load by floor and ceiling you have to calculate. The formula is same, the U for the floor into area of the floor into temperature difference. Similar way for ceiling, the sensible heat load is calculated by U ceiling, that is overall heat transfer of that ceiling into area of the ceiling and temperature difference of that ceiling. And next important 11th step is that calculate room external sensible heat load. So now here that heat load by the wall is equal to Q wall for north. Suppose that building is situated in the north direction, then heat gain you must have to know that is Q values plus Q from the south plus Q wall from the north plus Q wall from the east. You must have to consider any one while consider means earlier step you already define the orientation of the building. On the basis of that you have to select that Q values for a particular direction. If suppose that building is situated in the south direction, you must have to consider only south. So there is no need of consideration of that other Q values. Okay. Now heat load by that glass is calculated by that Q is equal to UA delta T. That is U is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient of that glass, area of that glass, and solar heat gain, that is total temperature difference. Okay. And similar way heat load by the roof, it is also calculated by the basic formula, that is UA delta T, where U is nothing but that overall heat transfer coefficient, A is nothing but that area, and delta T is nothing but the temperature difference. Now the next important 12th step is calculate direct sensible heat load. So the next important step is calculate direct sensible heat load. In that, internal to external we have to consider. So first of all, the sensible heat through infiltration. In that, the first is sensible heat through the infiltration is calculated by using formula. And this is the one multiplication factor, that is 1.08, that is ref factor we have to consider 1.08 into CFM into delta T. Okay. So for CFM is nothing but cubic feet per minute, and in that swinging and revolving door we have to consider 1 CFM. Similarly for sliding door we have to consider 0.40 CFM per square foot. So these are the some standard assumptions. So on the basis of that, the sensible heat through the infiltration is calculated, and the formula is 1.08, that is ref cross factor into CFM into delta T is the basic formula. Now the next important is that sensible heat that from that air handling unit, that is ventilation, you can say it as, the formula is that 1.08 into CFM into delta T into BF. BF is nothing but that bypass factor we must have to consider, and that CFM with respect to people is calculated by number of the people into CFM per person. Similar way, the CFM with respect to area is calculated by area of the room into CFM per square feet. Similar way, the CFM with respect to volume is calculated by volume of room into that NSCPH factor upon 60. So we will discuss that factor in next slide. So select maximum about 3. So you have to consider any one while calculating that heat load estimation. Now the 13th step is that room latent heat. Earlier we discussed that particular sensible heat factor. Now we will discuss that latent heat factor for the room. So as far as that room is to be concerned, the latent heat from the people is calculated by using formula number of people into latent heat per person. So the value of the latent heat per person is available in the standard ISHRAE and carrier handbook. ISHRAE handbook you will get details from those. So the latent heat from the people is calculated by number of the people into latent heat per person. Similar way, the latent heat by infiltration is calculated by that 0.68 into CFM into that temperature difference. So in this way you can calculate that room latent heat factor. Similar way for latent heat from the AHU or SPU for ventilation is calculated by using the formula 0.68 into CFM into that heating rate difference into bypass factor. So these are the important formula related with the latent heat which is related with the room by considering people, infiltration and air handling unit. Now the 14th step is calculate effective room sensible heat and effective room latent heat. That is ERSH is nothing but effective room sensible heat, and ERLH is nothing but effective room latent heat. So these are the most important step in the heat load estimation. So that ERSH, that is effective room sensible heat, is calculated by using formula RSH, that is room sensible heat plus 10 to 15% RSH we must have to consider. Then in order to calculate that ERLH, that is effective room latent heat, that the formula is RLH, that is room latent heat plus 3 to 5% of that RLH. So these are the some important formulas, ERSH and ERLH. We must have to need these for calculation of the CFM. So before that we just calculated those values. And the 15th step is that calculate ESHF. So again that ESHF is calculated by effective room sensible heat upon ERSH plus ERLH. So what is the formula of that ESHF? The formula of that ESHF is effective room sensible heat upon summation of that ERSH and ERLH. Now the 16th step is that calculation of that ADP. ADP is nothing but apparatus due temperature. You will get this with the help of that ISHRAE standard data book. Now the next step of the discussion is that calculation of that ERSH. So that ERSH is separately calculated by using formula that is 0.18, that is a multiplication factor into delta T, that is temperature difference into contract factor. So in order to calculate that CFM, the CFM is calculated by ERSH upon 1.05 into delta T into that contact factor, that is CF for sensible. For latent, we must have to calculate that CFM by using formula ERLH upon 0.68 into delta W, that is delta W. We already previously discussed that particular point, that is heating rate and into that contact factor. So that is latent in the form of the latent, and the total CFM is calculated by using formula ERTH upon 4.45 into H1 minus H2 into that particular contact factor. So these are the some important formula of the CFM calculation. Now the next 17th step is outside air heat load on the coil. We must have to consider, that is OASH. OASH stand for outside air sensible heat, and OALH is stand for outside air latent heat, and that outside air sensible heat is calculated by using formula 1.08 into CFM into delta T into that contact factor. Similar way, that OALH, that is outside air latent heat, is calculated by using formula 0.68 into CFM into delta heating rate, that is for fresh air definitely, into that contact factor. And the 18th step is that find out that ER and ER of AC. So the ER efficiency ratio of that AC is calculated by total heat load is equal to ERSH plus ERLH plus OASH plus OALH. Okay, so that where that ERSH is nothing but effective room sensible heat, ERLH is nothing but effective room latent heat, OASH is nothing but outside air sensible heat, and OALH is nothing but outside air latent heat. So in this way you can calculate that energy efficiency, that particular ratio, efficiency ratio of that air conditioner. Now the next and the most important steps are that duct design steps. So from 19th the duct design steps are there. So the 19th step is, as per the room size, arrange the supply and return outlet, that is we must have to mention the diffusers and grills. Now the step 20 is select outside size from the manufacturing data. So select outlet sizes of the manufacturing data. So we must have to define the sizes of the duct from the manufacturing data. Okay, similar, and this data is available in ASHRAE and Carrier handbook, so no bother about it. The next 21 step is that sketch single line diagram for inlet and outlet with air handling unit. That is again CAD procedure. We must have to define the single line diagram for understanding purpose. And for in the second the next step, second step is that divide the system into different sections. So that is again important. The duct system should divide their flow size and shape channels. Okay, so we must have to consider the shapes as well as their route and path, as well as by considering their sizes. So this is the 22nd step of the heat load estimation. Now the 23rd step is the size duct. Means we have to define the method of the designing of that particular duct, and there are three important methods through which we can design that duct. The most important is that static regain method, second one is that equal friction method, and the third one is a velocity reduction method. So these are the some important design methods for designing the duct. So out of them, that equal friction is more efficient and economical. So generally we prefer that equal friction method. So the next step is 24th step is calculate system total pressure loss. Okay, then select motor HP and fan HP. then you can get idea about the total pressure loss. So total pressure loss is calculated by using formula ESP plus ISP. So what is exactly that ESP? ESP stand for that external static pressure, and that ISP is stand for that internal or infiltration, that particular kind of static pressure. So we must have to consider that various duct losses, damper losses, diffuser losses, supply air duct losses, return duct losses, sound attenuation in order to calculate that ESP, that is external static loss. But in order to calculate that ISP, that is internal static pressure or infiltration, we must have to consider the filtration loss plus coil loss. Then the 25th step and most important step is calculation of that HP of that particular motor required for the air handling unit. So the HP is equal to horsepower is equal to total CFM into total pressure loss upon 6356 into efficiency of the motor into efficiency of that blower. So in this way we will define that HP. Now the next 26th step is layout the system in detail. If the duct routine and fitting various significant from the original design, so we must have to sketch that design first. Also we must have to consider the shape of the duct, whether that duct is that rectangular or whether it is round. And the next 27th step is analyze the design for noise level, then specify sound attenuation as necessary. So here we must have to consider the insulation effect, but it is mostly suitable for some kind of the theaters, malls, where we need to know the sound attenuation effect. So that's why this 27th step is not mostly useful for domestic as well as for domestic and commercial application. It is mostly suitable for that sports complex, cinema houses, some auditorium, etc. So we must have to consider that sound attenuation level and insulation, if good kind of the insulation in case of the 27th step. And the 28th step is the pressure, that prepare the BOQ, that is bill of quantity for ducting material. So after at the end of that BOQ, after end of the ducting work, we must have to consider the chiller. So we must have to select that chiller. So the 29th step is related with the chiller. As per total heat load of the building, select chiller. We must have to select the chiller as per total heat load. But for that we must have to consider the sensible as well as that latent load. And the 30th step is to prepare that single line diagram of joining that air handling unit and chiller and place appropriate wall needed. So we must have to draw the diagram, that is single line diagram of joining that air handling unit and chiller. The 31st step is find heat loss in the piping. So we must have to consider the major as well as minor losses related with the pipe fitting. Already knows the major losses occurs because of the friction and minor loss occurs because of the sudden change in the cross section as well as bends, etc. Now the 32 step is that final capacity of the motor to run the pump, so that is a BHP. So we must have to consider. And finally the 33rd step is to prepare the bill of quantity for the chiller. Already we calculated BOQ for ducting. Now we consider BOQ for that chiller, and after that you will get that HP similar way by using that formula of that is BHP upon efficiency of that motor, that is horsepower we already calculated. So the last step of that heat load estimation is that BOQ, that is bill of quantity for both, that is for ducting as well as for chiller unit, by consideration the effect of the air handling unit. So students, these all are the important 34 steps which will help you for heat load estimation of the residential building as well as for commercial building. Thank you.